the Buddhist library committee, they have a meeting, so they requested for Bhante to attend. Yeah. So I didn't prepare anything for today. So yeah. So yesterday we had an ask me anything session at ACM. Yeah. So we can have a second session here. We will ask until 2:30, half an hour for you all to ask questions. If you all don't ask questions, I will just meditate. Yes, Cheryl. How can we practice patience? You all should have asked when Bhante is here. How to practice patience? Very simple. Come and join the Xiaopusa volunteer. Then Shifu will give you all the opportunities to practice patience. Actually, when we start meditating, we are practicing patience. Because when we first start sitting, there's some level of physical discomfort. So we need to be able to bear with that, yeah, to endure that, to have that ability to face it. And then we need to be patient with ourselves also when we meditate. Because as much as we put in effort, but we don't see the progress immediately. So many people give up because they lack patience. Because they don't realize that the concentration, the samadhi, or even the jhana, it doesn't come easily. Yeah. It also doesn't come simply because you want it to come. Yeah. So you need to give it some time. So earlier on when we are doing the sitting, in fact, in many sessions, during the sitting I have shared on how when we are doing meditation, you need to give yourself some time, yeah, to settle down. Because the mind, while the mind is non-physical, yet it has some features like physical things. If you are in a bicycle traveling at a moderate speed, then maybe you can stop very quickly. But if you are in a big car or big truck or big bus going at high speed, then the momentum is very strong. Even when the driver applies emergency brake, it doesn't stop immediately. Yeah. So if we have certain habitual tendency, yeah, mental habits of ours, then it's going to take time for that to wind down also. And for that we need to have patience. Yeah. So in a way there's no special cause to go for. But in our daily practices, yeah, and encounters with people, yeah, there are a lot of opportunities to practice patience. Yes.
Explain briefly what three dharma seals, how we can use it to apply to what we hear and see nowadays on the internet, and the speakers that are coming in, sort of preach Buddhism.
Okay.
How does that
So the three dharma seals. How do we apply it? And especially in recent times, where there are a lot of new groups coming about. Yeah. How can we use the three Dharma seals? So first of all, what are the three Dharma seals? In Chinese is the San Fa Ying. Yeah. So San Fa Ying is very similar to San Zhi Xing. Yeah. The three universal characteristics, but they differ in the function and purpose. The three Dharma seals is what the Buddha advised his disciples, advised us on how we can verify whether a set of teachings is actually authentic. Yeah. So the word seal here is actually it's like, traditionally Chinese documents, they have a seal. Yeah. So the seal is to authenticate that this is a true document. And then when you receive a document, then you use that and you look at the features of that, whether it matches with the real one. Yeah. So the three Dharma seals serve similar function. But what are the three Dharma seals? In Mandarin, 诸行无常, 诸法无我, 涅槃寂静. Yeah. So the first is that all conditioned phenomena, yeah, 诸行. So all conditioned phenomena or fabrications are impermanent. That's the first. The second, 诸法无我, all phenomena. Yeah. The first one only refers to conditioned phenomena. The second refers to all phenomena. That all phenomena are without any inherent self. Yeah, 诸法无我. There's no inherentness in all things. Then the third is 涅槃寂靜. That Nibbana, or Nirvana, if you will, is the most supreme cessation. Yeah? The most supreme cessation of suffering. So, how do we apply these three? So, when we hear a certain teaching, we use these three marks, yeah, these three marks or three Dharma seals to look at what has been taught, to see whether, okay, does this conform with the essence of what the Buddha has taught? Yeah. So if, let's say, you encounter a certain school or a certain group that espouses themselves to be a Buddhist group, then they say that, oh, this is what they teach, and this is the ultimate for them. Then you compare that with what the essence of the Buddha's teaching. The Buddha observed and declared that all conditioned phenomena are impermanent. So, whatever has been taught by the new group, yeah, is it in line with this statement? Yeah, with this truth, or is it in contradiction? Then the second, that all phenomena has no inherent self. 诸行无常苦, 诸法无我空. Yeah, that's the implication. So, if some groups, you ask them, how about impermanence? Do you all in your group, do you all highlight the impermanence of conditioned phenomena? Sometimes we cannot simply take one statement from a group and then just say, oh, this is Buddhism or not. Yeah, this is Dharma or not. Because sometimes the one stanza that you hear comes from maybe one of the student who is a newcomer. Or maybe it's a senior member, but that student maybe just delight in one part of the teaching. So you need to make sure that you ask someone who knows the full picture of that group. And if after checking with the whole group still say, no, that teaching is old teaching. New teaching, conditioned phenomena, we don't have to bother about it. Whether it's impermanent or permanent, doesn't matter. Don't bother. Then you got to ask yourself, why? You got to start to ask them or ask yourself, why is there this difference? So, and the last one, 涅槃寂静, that Nibbana is the ultimate bliss, the ultimate cessation of suffering. So if some group purports to be a Buddhist group, but do not advocate attaining enlightenment. Now there's a difference between saying we don't care about enlightenment versus we want to practice the Bodhisattva path life after life. Because to do the latter, to practice the Bodhisattva path life after life, then the person is striving towards Buddhahood already. Then there's no difference. So this is a very direct way to look at various groups, whether they advocate the teachings of the Buddha. Now if we look at the first and the second of the Dhamma seal, in fact the three Dhamma seal, it is basically another form of the Four Noble Truths. Another form of the Four Noble Truths. So the first two Dhamma seal is pointing to the first and second Noble Truth. And the third is the Third Noble Truth. So if it covers in this way, then you can further ask them, so how do you, even if they say, oh, we also advocate enlightenment, you can also ask them then, okay, how do you all practice to attain enlightenment? Do you all practice the Noble Eightfold Path? If you take out the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path, there's no Dhamma to talk about. In the context of this question, in recent times, there are quite a few groups that have, in their center, they have Buddha, they have Guan Pusa, they have all kinds. But they don't advocate learning of the Dhamma. They don't advocate learning. Some of the groups even advocate chanting. So this is very tricky. Very tricky. Because these few new groups, they advocate chanting, but they don't advocate learning the meaning of the chanting. They just say, just chant is enough. So they are taking the form of Dhamma, but not use it in a Dhamma way. So this is what we may call fake Buddhism or pseudo-Buddhism. Come, ask me anything. Yes?
So, many times, right, faith for Buddhism develops when, say, conceptually something resonates or something makes sense at that point. So how, and if you, I mean, going through all the suttas and all the Noble Eightfold Path so far, what happened is it's going to take a long time for you to really see the truth that Buddha sees, right? So how do we strengthen the faith in between, because there will be ups and downs all the time?
So faith don't arise only after we attain enlightenment. Faith, in fact, is one of the first phase, the first stage, in our our path towards enlightenment. There was someone that I talked to recently, and so he was a bit curious when I've mentioned that. So he said no. For him, he said he didn't come into contact with Buddhism or embrace the teachings through faith. So he was quite certain that it was not through faith. So I asked him. I said, when your doctor told you that you need to meditate, when you have a lot of thoughts in your mind and you see the doctor for diagnosis and prescription, and your doctor told you that you need to meditate, isn't that out of faith in the doctor that you then try? Then he thought, oh yeah, and he then added that, and initially he still didn't have faith, and so he didn't try it out until after 6 months of nudging by the doctor, who keep telling him, you must go and meditate. Then he tried, and after this 4 years or 5, he's like half of his career is now teaching mindfulness meditation to the corporate world. So perhaps for some people, when we learn the Dharma, sometimes it depends on the speaker, sometimes it depends on the listener also, how we listen to the Dharma and then try to use it as soon as we can, and not just bring it back and put it in the shelf. You know how sometimes when for SGC and many classes, I would have the visualizer and I would write, right? So some students, they prefer to have stacks of notes. Wow, the more notes it is, the better the class is. So some students even after attending some classes, ask for extra set and pass me as a sample. To try to urge me to also do the same. Shifu, you see, that Venerable prepared so much notes, My teacher, when he gave his teaching on the sutras and commentaries, he never prepared, he prepared his own notes, but he don't give out notes. He don't even write on visualizers or whiteboard. You got to really pay attention. So sometimes when we get a lot of notes, it gives us a false sense of security, a false sense of certainty and understanding that, there's a lot of value in that. But it's really not much value if we just take it back and then put it in the shelf, and then the next week, when it's 6+, take it out. See, the baby is laughing. Probably for a different reason. Then just bring it to class, and then open to the page and listen again. So for him it was different. For him it was really, initially it was faith, but later on he really tried it out. So there are those who just come for class, listen, and expect everything to be explained, every single part. And if the speaker happen not to give examples that's exactly what they are facing, I mean, there are a lot of students who come who come after class and, Shifu, what you said today, really happening, So there are some students who end up with a wrong conclusion that I can read their mind. Let me just tell you very frankly, statistically speaking, as long as you have enough students, one of you is going to hit it. So I do not claim to have clairvoyance. It's not something to go for. And besides, since the Buddha's time until now, the things that trouble us hasn't really changed. Hasn't really changed, really. The content may be slightly different, but it's still the same few things. 人事物跑不掉. that many things. Just that now we have more variety of the same thing. Yeah. More, yet less, same. Yeah. So instead, if we were to attend any kind of class whatsoever, I would say that, again, I'm repeating myself. A very important first step is to just listen. Just listen. I would say during the class, don't even try to apply it yet. Just listen first. Unless your retention is so strong, you just hear it once, you remember 90, 100%. Yeah? Like now, if I were to ask one of you to come, and don't have to come here, just where you are, repeat what you have heard from Bhante. Would that be okay? Would you all be able to do it other than Zhou Ping, who has been typing? Yeah. But I would say, even though he has been typing, if we close the laptop and ask him to retype what he typed, it may be a challenge, yeah, because our retention. Yeah. I've tried this in many different group cultivation groups that I have organized. And sometimes when I invite other speakers, and after the speaker has left, then I do a recap with them. Yeah. Not easy. Yeah. This is not to put people in the spot, but this is an important thing for us to realize. Yeah. So even if we cannot retain 100%, if we can retain 40%, 60%, then based on that, try to clarify your understanding. Yeah. Ask yourself, what do you understand about that 40%? And then if you find that there are certain, you can remember it now, but you don't quite understand, yeah, then you can ask questions during the talk. Or after that, spend some time to reflect. Yeah. And then you can ask others who have attended the talk whether your retention is correct, number one. Number two, whether your understanding is correct. But you must remember, if you ask fellow peers, you ask your peers, they may have better or worse retention than you. Yeah. So eventually, if you do this over time, then your confidence will increase already. Your faith will increase, through hearing, through contemplation. And then further to that, while the Buddha has completed the path, attained Buddhahood, and entered Parinibbana, not all of us are able to do it by next Wednesday. Yeah. So, despite that, there are many of the teachings that can be verified immediately, can be used immediately. I don't say that we are able to do everything all at once. Yeah. But there are adequate things that we can try out. Yeah. Yes.
Certain times I think something is a good thing to do, but then I've read one thing and I know of a lot of methods to apply that.
A lot of methods of what?
Apply them.
Uh-huh.
But I can't seem to cultivate the calm habits there. So what is the best method?
So what he is asking is, there are a lot of a lot of practices or a lot of things that he has read or learned, but when he try to practice them, it's not so easy. How to be able to practice them and do it. Yeah. So how many of you have gone for like yoga classes before? Yoga. Oh, quite popular, huh? How many of you have gone to gym before? Carry weights? Or go to gym to do aerobics? Huh? How about running? So, for those of you who have tried any of this, you would know that if you do it by yourself, not everybody has that self-discipline. Whereas if you do it with a group, you sign up for a package, yeah, number of lessons, and then number one, there's the impetus because you pay for an overpriced cost class, so you better make the most out of it, you know. Yeah. Number two is where because of that group synergy, yeah, so you are more motivated to go and attend. If you before that day, your friend will chill you at, hey, this weekend going? Then you, okay lah, go. Yeah. Whereas if it's yourself, nobody asks, then you just, today, already late, huh? Then if I go for a run, then later I will miss the TV series. Then I think forget it lah. Yeah. Then once you miss one session, easy to miss another session, and then before you know it, oh, Happy New Year again. So it's actually the same for our practice. Yeah, it's the same for our practice. There are many different practices. Yeah, there are so many different practices in Buddhism for different people at different stages, and to overcome different defilements. Yeah, to develop different qualities and merits in order to overcome different unwholesome mental states. So, despite the disparity or the variety, yeah, of the various stages, the common theme here is to get started, number one, and then to find wholesome peers, yeah, good spiritual friends, sanyo, yeah, who to do together. This principle applies for everything. It's the same as, I'm not advocating playing mahjong, but you notice those who like mahjong, they will have their mahjong kaki. You see, there's even this phrase, mahjong kaki. Why? Because you cannot play mahjong by yourself. You need 4 person. So you find that 4 person that you are very comfortable, then you just play together. Yeah, and so there's that motivation involved. Whether it's mahjong, whether it's running, yoga, exercise, yeah, or even karaoke, yeah. Then some have foot kaki. Yeah. So the trouble sometimes is Buddhists sometimes are like this. When we go to a temple, we just go to the temple. Then when we go out, we don't go out with our temple friends. We go out with our go-out friends. When we go to makan, we go with our makan friends. So temple is temple. So as a result, it's quite disconnected. And the tendency is it's hard for us to find that fellowship, yeah, that friendship with fellow Buddhists, to be able to practice together. Part of the reason why we have the group cultivation. So at the very least, once a week, even if you don't do any other practices on your own, at least once a week, the group is here. Yeah? Rain or shine, unless Shifu is overseas or on a retreat. Yeah? Otherwise, there's a group cultivation. Yeah? Then you can practice together. But the aim over time is to extend it even beyond outside the Sunday session. Yeah. So, how do we make it? Yeah, to actually do it. Number one, don't plan when you want to start. Just start today. Just start today. Like if you want to meditate, to have daily meditation, yeah, just start today. Download the Insight Meditation app, not written by me. Yeah, I wish I wrote it first. Yeah, but doesn't matter. I mean, it's a good app. Some people, some students ask me, "Hey, Shifu, why don't you write a meditation?" There's already meditation where, why repeat the wheel? You know? Yeah, just install it and then just make it a point. Even if it's just half an hour a day, just go and do it. Yeah. Sometimes I'm busy the whole day, and then by the time I'm back after class, 10 plus, 11, then I squeeze in one more hour at 11 plus. Yeah. So it's up to individuals to find time. Yeah. In that sense, practices like meditation is actually very easy. Because it's very tangible. You sit there, you feel accomplished, you did something, you know. Whereas like just now the question, how to practice patience, how to account for it. Today I practice 2 points of patience. This weekend during SGC, Shifu gave us a scolding. I managed to look happy. I think that deserves 2.5 points. How, you know? So in terms of quantifiability of the practice, meditation is so easy. You sit 1 hour, you know that it's 1 hour is something you can count, you know. You sit 5 minutes, even 5 minutes, yeah, I sit 5 minutes. Every day I sit, if let's say you feel that 1 hour is too much, yeah, 2 hours is too much, yeah, okay, I sit 15 minutes, no problem. But stick to that 15 minutes. If you choose 15 minutes, stick to it. The key thing is sustaining it. Key thing is sustaining it. Because I will tell you, it is not difficult at all to just sit for 12 hours a day. Yeah, anyone can do it. You can you just rest for 2 hours, or in fact you can just sit for the whole day, 24 hours. Yeah, you sitting, walking, 24 hours, just do it once. But if you just do it once, and then for the rest of your life you don't meditate, what's the point? Yeah. Because it's really easy to do 1 day of 24 hours. Not easy to do just 1 hour every day. Because that's long term. Oh? Okay? Yeah. Other practices, for other practices, the same principles apply. Yeah, but because of the difference in nature of practices, as I mentioned, the practice of patience, for example, you cannot really say, okay, every day I'll allocate like 1 hour of patience. So between 10 to 11, I'll be patient. Then after that, I'm not patient anymore. Maybe that's an idea. I ever gave some groups of students this exercise. Yeah. We have, let's say, the 3 defilements, we have the 21 mental concomitants and so on. Yeah. So you can just choose one every week. Yeah. And you can choose, let's say, out of a week, 1 day to practice that. Yeah. So let's say patience. You can say, okay, every week, yeah, let's say on this day, you will practice patience no matter what. Yeah. Then after a while, you may find that, hey, suddenly all the problems happen on that day, you know. All the difficult people in your life come and look for you on that day. Initially, your day is okay. Then later on, when you say, okay, every Monday I will practice patience. Then all the nasty customers start calling on Monday. Even if you never post on Facebook and Instagram and declare to the world, strange things happen sometimes. Maybe it's the cognitive bias, you know. Yeah. But maybe it's the whatever comic link. I was telling some students that, today I'm very relaxed. I said, why? Because today I'm not giving talks. But then again, even when I'm giving talks, I think I'm quite relaxed also. Sometimes when there's no topic, I'm less relaxed. Because at least if there's a topic, there's a certain boundary for me to cover. No topic, how? So you decide, I give you all 5 more minutes to ask questions. If not, then we'll sit for the rest of the 35 minutes. No, 25 minutes, not 35. Yes?
I know that last time you talked about when you're here about the mindfulness, how to cultivate mindfulness.
Yes.
And then I also like to take the challenge of just now you're saying that when Monday left, do you recall 40% or 100%?
Yes.
So actually, when Monday came in, the first one is that we do bowing to the, we say prayers to Buddha, and at the same time, he talked about the topic is about patience.
Yes.
And he explained in Pali what is patience is Kali perfect parameter.
It's yes.
And later on, he told us a short story about Buddha and his temporary attendant.
Yes.
Which because we all know that his attendant is Anantunza.
For 24 or 25. You all don't block me. She cannot see me. Yeah.
And he was
作病 you. You are blocking her view. You can see like that.
Oh, it's okay. And
Your mic,
yeah.
you
was telling us the story that Buddha and his attendant was going to. He was living in a remote hill.
Yes.
And during this time, when they went out, they went to the attendant see a very beautiful scenery.
Yes.
Hills and stream, and then the attendant was when the attendant went back, he was like, I want to go to this place and cultivate mindfulness. And so he asked Buddha for permission to leave the hill and then just to go for cultivation.
Yes.
And Buddha said, this way. So the attendant being very polite to Buddha, so he wait. So the second time he asked the same question, and the second time he was also refused, and the third time Buddha said, okay, you may go to the beautiful scenery and do your cultivation over there. So, but when he was there, he did not succeed because he was not prepared. I mean, he tried, but he did not attempt what he wished. So he went back to Buddha and said that he did not complete his mission. So Buddha being very patient, Buddha can say no, straight away say no, I do not allow you to go. You have to stay here. It's better for you to cultivate in here instead of going to the beautiful scenery. So actually the story is just to tell us that after this story you can have your own perception to whatever you listen. Everyone's perception is quite different. For me is that patience you cannot tell by words. It's your own doing, how you feel it. So for me is that when you can say that you dedicate 1 hour, but actually every day is a small trying of your own patience. Whether let's say anger or say greed or anything of it, sometimes just because certain incident it will spark you to get angry. But for me is that every time when this happens, before I get angry, I will usually read my drama book. I will read through up Dharma, then I will like
Dharma. Oh.
So actually I will just read through it lah. Then
that's good.
because when you are reading, when you are in a calm mind, your mind will focus. The same thing when I get angry, when I take out the book, I feel that I cannot focus because you are angered by certain things. So actually when you're still reading the same passage, but your mind will wander. You just go through that momentum of this person made me so angry. But slowly and slowly, you will not get so angry. So actually, I think that this is a very good enlightenment for me. So because I have this special location of sitting here just to listen, and actually it's a very good, I would say a very good, what should I say? 就是一个很好的一个机会，让我可以在这边好好的听师父们的开示。
Sadhu, sadhu. I think she captured the gist of it. Majority of the details are in also. Very good. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Yes.
Is it true that someone has to really penetrate into yourself in order to really appreciate impermanence?
That someone has to really penetrate into no self to appreciate impermanence. It's more the other way around. When someone has penetrated into impermanence, then they can appreciate no self. Yeah, because impermanence comes first. The observation of impermanence is direct. Then the insight into no self arises. Yeah. I'd like to just say one thing about patience. When we think about patience, what do we have to be patient towards? Number one, your child scoring 300 points for PSLE. Do you have to have patience for that? Do you need to have patience for that? Yeah. Would you come to Shifu and say, Shifu, I need your help? Say, why? I'm losing my patience. Why? My children, what happened? PSLE result. Yeah! How much did she get? 300 points! Will this ever happen? Do you have to have patience for such a result? You don't, isn't it? Let me give you a more, an even easier example. Let's say you buy 4D, and then the lottery came out. Yeah, not lottery, the 4D came out, and it came out first prize. Do you need to have patience to receive this news? You are giving me the confused look like. Usually Shifu give very good example. How come all the example is very strange today? These are all the counter examples. Yeah, we never need patience in these cases. Yeah. So when are the times where we need to have patience? That we usually think we need patience? Something bad happened. Something bad happened to who? To ourselves. When something bad happened to ourselves, then we need patience. If it happened to our enemy, Oh, no need patience. Yeah, your worst colleague, yeah, get warning letter. Yeah, text your other colleagues from other department. Hey, I buy coffee. Yeah, so when something bad happens, when something disagreeable, when something don't go our way, then we think we need patience. But there's another level of patience that we can and should work on, which is patience towards our defilements. Patience towards our defilements. When defilements arise in us, it compels us to want to act, to do things. Yeah, it's a very powerful force. Why? Because we are habituated by it. Because we routinely act upon them. Sometimes we are in a bus, we see an old auntie or uncle come out. Maybe there's also the intent to stand up and offer our seat. But this is not so powerful, yeah, for some of us, for some people. So we don't say that is empty, yeah, that is not present. It's present but not so powerful. But when someone sends us a nasty email, yeah, then defilements arise. Oh, this is very powerful. Yeah, and immediately you think you're very smart. CC all. Then we send it out. So patience in terms of our defilements. We need to first be mindful and watchful of the arising of defilements. When defilements arise, to treat it like the pain in our leg. Just as when there's pain in our leg, we learn to face it, to as Bhante said, to have forbearance. Yeah, 受, 忍啊, yeah, 忍辱的忍. It also has that acceptance, to be able to face it and accept it. Bear with discomfort. Yeah. For our leg pain, it's easy to understand. May not be so easy to do sometimes, but we can understand. Yeah, try not to move. But with defilements, not easy to understand, not easy to do. Yeah, because when defilements arise, it also compels us to do things. Yeah. So defilements is one other area, yeah, that is very key for us to practice patience on. When greed, hatred, delusion, or the secondary defilements arise, to be able to say, you are here again. Long visitor. Yes. Yeah. And to consider, not to give them PR. Don't give them the free visiting pass. Okay? Yeah. Must let them have a lot of application form. Ask them to fill up form. Yeah. Fill up form. Yeah. Hello, what is your name? Your name is Anger. Yes. What is the purpose of your stay here? What do you want to do? Or you want me to reply with an angry, okay, it's fine. You want, okay. How long do you want to stay? Yeah. And what is the intent of doing that? Just like immigration form, ask a lot of questions. After you finish asking all those questions, the person walk off already. The matter is over. Then you can reply, dear Anger, your application for permanent residence has been rejected. Yeah. You have a question?
Just answer my question.
Oh.
Actually, my question is how to practice patience in work life when you don't come across as indecisive or in your face nasty customer or email. Then how do you being patient, sometimes people will deem you as like weak or indecisive. you may be patient, but your co-worker may not be. So you have to strike a balance.
Yes.
I realize I'm very impatient when driving. So how to work on that? Because I find that sometimes it's not my fault, but others' fault because they are very slow. So it's like patience versus so-called efficiency.
Yes,
So
yes.
how to strike balance?
I'm the right person to ask. If you have driven me before, you will know that sometimes when people drive too slowly, I'll just go. Like, what are you waiting for? Then sometimes my students will say, Shifu, I usually drive faster because I'm driving you today. I don't dare to drive too fast. So sometimes students, when they are driving me, they try to put on the best driving, And for them, they think that the best driving is to drive at 50 kilometers per hour. Yeah. Very, very frankly, a long time ago, when I was working, there was a period of time where I drove really fast. Too fast to mention on camera. I mean, at some point when I think back, I was like, wow, that was really so dangerous, Especially in Singapore. Yes, maybe you can shave off that 3 minutes or 5 minutes, but not that much really, unless you really drive really fast. Otherwise, but we all know that. So knowing that doesn't help us. Especially when you mentioned about when people drive slowly. Then there are those who drive inconsiderately. And there are those who drive recklessly. There are those who drive like it's their grandfather road. They drive and then you can see that they are deciding. They don't know. They're like, turn left or right? Then they, not left, right, all right. Then they just keep going. But then you're like, hey buddy, what do you do? Yeah. So I can completely understand how it can be frustrating. What I observe sometimes is there's this funny approach to driving. If you drive and overtake people, then you'll find that there's always people in front. Whereas if you let people overtake you, then after a while there's nobody around. Then you just happily and you can have the space. It's very strange. Yeah, it's very strange. But easier said than done, because it's never quite just one or another scenario. It's usually a multiple of scenarios. On a good day, everybody is happy, and then there's no traffic, and there's no jam, and you go green light after green light, very happy. Then heng sui sui one day, you drive, and the fella in front is like, take their own sweet time. Then they cross the traffic light, and you get stuck. Right? That's the frustrating thing. And like, if you go faster, I could have gone with you. Why do you leave me behind? Not that you are driving together. Yeah. So, how to overcome that? I like the trip to Ladakh. Ladakh is a part of India in the northeastern side, very highland. The lowest part is about 3,000, 4,000 high. And along the highway, they have very funny road signs. Really funny road signs. Road signs that encourage you to drive safely. But the way they put it is very tongue in cheek. Do you remember any particular one? I can't remember anything offhand. Let me see if I can remember roughly what they wrote. But the gist of it is that they have very funny road signs. Yeah. In fact, you can just search Google. There are people who probably post it, like Ladakh road signs. Yeah, it's really funny. They say things like like uh, I'm just cooking up one now. Huh?
Something like
You drive fast, then you die fast or something. Yeah. So anyway, let her look for it. Yeah. So the point about patience while driving is safety lah. Safety is the most crucial. Yeah. What does it say?
It's always better to be late than being late, Mister.
Huh?
Late, Mr. Tan.
Oh, yeah, yes. That means than to die lah.
If
Yeah.
you are married, divorce is sweet. Driving risky after whiskey.
Yeah. So it was really funny, and also the not so funny part is that because on many of the road it's just 2 lane. Yeah, it's just 2 lane. So it's actually really dangerous anyway. And at the same time, they still put all this funny sign along the highway. So we had a fun time looking for the next sign to look at. Yeah. Driving in Singapore, there's really no shortcut. Watch ourselves. Yeah, watch ourselves. Because ultimately, it boils down to just doing this one simple thing. Watch ourselves. Yeah. If others drive slowly or impatiently, then it is their behavior. Don't let that behavior change our behavior. Yeah. Okay. Any last question? We have time for one last question. If there are none, then we'll wrap it for the day. Oh. I hope today's sharing on patience have been helpful for everybody. Yes, you have a question? Come again? Yes. So earlier on, I guided you all to do a very simple preliminary for Metta meditation. So the reflection usually starts off with ourselves, yeah, to wish for ourselves to be free from the causes of suffering, to be free of ill will, free of anger, free of pain and discomfort, free of suffering, yeah, to be well and happy. Yeah. So if there's a teacher to guide, then you just listen to the instruction, and as you listen, to just connect with whatever has been said. Yeah. If you are on your own, then you may want to just memorize. It's a very short set, and maybe even before sitting, just reflect over it a bit. Yeah. Or when you are sitting, just do a bit of anapanasati. Yeah. Observe the breath for a while, quieten. Then just reflect on these words. Yeah. Reflect on the meaning of the words, and then make a sincere wish. Yeah. It's like when we go to a birthday party and we wish for the person happy birthday. to really wish for that person to be happy. Then you ask yourself, why don't I, it's free to wish people happy birthday. Then why don't we make that wish for ourselves every day? Yeah? Wish for ourselves to be well, to be happy. Well in the body, happy in the mind. Yeah? To wish for ourselves to be free from the causes of suffering. To be free of ill will and anger. To be free from pain and discomfort. In some verses, it will include not to be separated from the causes of happiness, yeah, and to be well and happy, and then extending towards people in our left and right, front and back, in all directions, and then extending outwards to encompass all. In modern times, then it goes through the different groups of individuals. You can use the Sigalovada Sutta as the reference point, the 6 directions. Yeah. So another preliminary reflection that I gave people is like at the end of the day, before you do this meditation, you can ask yourself, what have you done for anyone today? Yeah. Have you been of service to anyone? Have you had physically done anything to anybody? Have you said anything kind to others? Yeah? Encouraging to others, loving to others, caring to others. Have you had kind thoughts towards others? Yeah. And if you have not, then we should do it. Yeah. And if we had, then we have been a kind person, a good person. Then we deserve to be happy. Yeah. Because this part of the reflection is not natural for Asians, and perhaps for many people, because the tendency is, especially for Asians, we tend to have that kind of like self-deprecating kind of culture, starting with our parents, yeah, and sometimes coming down to us, we start to develop that also. So to reflect on how we have been of service to others, that we are not perfect yet, but in our own little ways, we have been helpful for others. Yeah. Then to also, at the end of the day, reflect how have we benefited from the service of others. Yeah. Now, even if you spend the whole day at home and didn't interact with anybody, you must know that in modern day Singapore, we don't stay alone. The fact that you can stay alone at home the whole day in relative safety is because of countless other individuals who have made it possible. Yeah. And not just those who did it that day, but all those who had done their part in the past days and weeks and months and years. Yeah. And how about if you're at home, unless you don't turn on the electricity, you don't use the toilet, yeah, you don't use your phone, then the moment you use any of this, you have benefited from others. Even if you don't turn on anything, how about our fridge? Yeah, our fridge is always on. So someone has to work at Senoko or one of the power stations. Then there are those who, over the months and years, maintain the substation, yeah, and do the checks and replace the fuses and valve and capacitors to make sure that our power is uninterrupted. Yeah. So if we do all that reflection, then we do Metta Meditation, then it's a lot more, meaningful. It's not just some random strangers that are wishing, may you be well and happy. Okay lah, wish you. No. But you really feel for them. Yeah. And if we do this over time, over a period of time, then the moment you open your eyes and you look at individuals, it's no longer strangers. Yeah. But individuals who have, in one way or another, contributed to your well-being. Yeah. Okay? Let's put our palms together. 愿消三障诸烦恼，愿得智慧真明了，普愿罪障悉消除，世世常行菩萨道。阿弥陀佛。I'd like to also repeat those verses in English. There are some students who have been asking me, and some students who suggested, and I thought, because not all of us can fully understand the Chinese, and I thought since our puja is English and Chinese and Pali anyway, so with the merits of today's session, may we aspire to eradicate all defilements and obstacles. Actually, it's the 3 obstacles. May we aspire to develop the wisdom with clear comprehension. May we eradicate all wrong and obstacles universally. May we practice the Bodhisattva path life after life. A弥陀佛。起立。